They're here. I like it. I like it. Welcome to yet another live fishing show brought to you by Fisheco. In today's show, we're fishing with Kristian Keskitalo from Team Daiwa.
I'm going fishing. Yes, I'm going fishing.
Yes, I'm going
fishing too.
Don't forget to ask questions to Kristian in the commentary field at YouTube. Hi, hello everyone, and very, very welcome to this evening's live fishing show brought to you by us from Fisheco. And today's live fishing show is a little bit different what you are used to. We're doing it in English because this show is sponsored by the Daiwa Corporation, and we're anticipating some non-Swedish speaking viewers. So this is why we're talking English today. We're going to fish with this guy, Mr. Kristian Keskitalo. He is an old friend. We've done a lot of fishing together. And let me promise you, this guy really knows how to fish. We're going for perch, hopefully big perch today. And we've done some pre-fishing. And I think the biggest one we caught today was 43 centimeters.
So a kilo fish?
Yes, a kilo fish. And Kristian, maybe you saw the little thing we put on Facebook. It was a really nice fish. And we've hooked some fish, but we haven't caught anyone quite that big. But we've had 4 or 5 perch during this pre-fishing. And of course, we're going to let Kristian introduce himself in a short while. And if you think that I'm a little preoccupied watching something else than you, it's because the sonar tells us there's a lot of perch in the water right now. So the conditions are good, not perfect, but good enough.
Yes, fairly good. We have some northwestern wind. We could have south winds or weather, but we have to take what they have.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna get right to it, I think.
Absolutely.
And don't forget to ask questions. You can do it in Swedish, English, or
and
Finnish. I will hand over the questions in Finnish. My Finnish is not that good.
You're working on that.
I'm working on it. I know how to swear a little bit. But Kristian, you have to tell us. I have. You've been on my radar, what's it called in English?
Your perch radar.
My perch radar, or my fishing radar for many, many years. And if there is anyone out there who doesn't know who you are, it would be quite interesting to know a little bit. You've done everything. Start with that.
Not everything, of course, but I've done a lot of fishing. Perch is still one of my favorites because you can fish perch all over the country and in all seasons and in different methods. And so I fish perch during winter, and that's definitely one of my favorite fishing. And a little sad to say that I'm almost alone on the ice. So everybody welcome out ice fishing. That's really nice.
You target your fishing for big perch also in the winter.
Yeah. And that's what we are doing today also. We are targeting big perch, and I will talk a little bit more about that later on. I think I started fishing when I was big enough to walk besides my father. My father is my teacher in fishing, and he's still active. He became 70 last week.
Yeah.
And we had some nice vertical fishing.
I think just yesterday we saw him with a big char.
Yeah.
And, still going strong.
And I will be 50 this autumn, so I've seen a lot of fishing. I've been fly fishing a lot.
Yes.
Previous years I've been in Russia and in Argentina and all over the place fly fishing.
Going for both salmon and sea trout.
Salmons and trouts, and I've been trolling salmons in the Baltics and in our Great Lakes here in Sweden. And got tired of that, to be honest, and
That's hard work.
yeah, and when I got my driving license, it was in the late 80s. I started to go up North Norway to sea angling.
Yep. You've always been a big fan of Norway.
Yeah, Norway is a favorite, and in the beginning it was cod and coalfish, and more cod and coalfish, and later on in the beginning of 2000, I started to fish halibut. And
you were almost one of the pioneers for the halibut fishing, weren't you?
yeah, one of them at
Yeah.
least. And we started 2005. We started a fishing camp, and later on 2 fishing camps in the Lofoten area in Norway. And we really fished a lot of halibuts. And I was doing that 5 years full time,
Yeah.
running the camps and guiding.
It was a full-time profession. You
Yes.
You went the whole way and you made fishing your profession and lifestyle.
Yes, I did, and I stopped my daily work and start fishing.
Yeah.
And that is nothing that I regret today. It was a couple of 5 fantastic years, but everything have its time. Now it's time for something else. And today I really enjoy holding the rod in my hand and fish pike and perch, and also sander. Char is also nice.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fish that we can target by vertical jigging or spin fishing, like casting like this. So that's my main fishing today, and I also do some consultants work for Daiwa since a couple of years.
Yeah.
And
Together with your friend Anders Cruz and
together
yeah.
with Anders Cruz, and I will talk more about him later.
Mhm. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, very.
And if you haven't seen the live fishing show with Anders, there we are. Please do so. He's on the tube also on the YouTube.
Yeah, and I'm also doing some stuff with the boat manufacturer, Buster boats.
Yep. We're fishing from a classic, a Buster boat.
This is a Buster. This is a Buster XL prototype with the casting decks, and yeah, This boat is made for me and Anders. So we do some cooperation with Buster, and also with Ray Marine Electronics.
So this boat is actually, right now it's one of a kind, and
Yeah.
it's specially made just for fishing, heavy duty fishing.
Yes, we made it as a test boat and prototype boat to see, to find out features for the coming Buster fishing boats. Yes,
New range also.
new range
Yeah.
of fishing boats. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's
We got a lot of fish on the sonar.
yeah. We have, but they are not
It's
biting
hard
yet.
not to look at the sonar. Sorry.
They're not biting yet.
But it's great to know that the fish is here.
They are here.
They're
yes,
gonna bite. At one time, they're gonna bite.
absolutely.
Great.
I can tell you a little bit about the place we are fishing in. This is a quite big lake. It's about 30 kilometers long, so it's not a small one. And it's very deep. Just behind us we have about 35 meters of water. So and it has a lot of pelagic bait fish like smelt and bleak, and a lot of whitefish also.
Mhm.
And perch are feeding on the pelagic bait fish.
Yeah.
Of course, they are feeding on other fish also, but I have mainly 2 ways of targeting a lake like this. One is to find the reefs or shallower areas close to very deep water, and I like to fish on the slopes down to about 5 to 15 meters.
Yeah. That's what we've done today,
yeah.
mostly. Yeah.
And by doing that, you don't get a lot of perch. And you have a lot of empty hours of fishing also, because when we hit a fish in a place like this, it's normally a big one.
Yes, we've hooked some really nice fish that didn't want to come up, but the conditions and everything looks great right now. So keep your fingers crossed. It's you're only one cast away from a big fish all the time.
That's true. And you might wonder what type of bait I'm casting with. I will show you. This is one of my... Somebody should say that this is a search bait. This is a crank. This is a 10 centimeter crank. The ProRex flat bait, 10 centimeters. I wouldn't say this is a search bait, because this is mainly one of my favorites of targeting big perch.
Yes.
You can fish it down to approximately 2.5 meters. And I do it like this. I'll cast it. And then I start to crank it like this. And I crank the line, keep it tight all the time, and then I pull it. You can see the crank swimming. This makes long stops where the crankbait is just floating like a suspending bait.
Standing still, suspending in there.
It still stays on 2 meters. And this move is called the cruise move.
The cruise move, yes.
I had a name from my friend Anders Cruz, because he always does the cruise move.
It's a nice move.
Yeah. When he is pike fishing. And it works really good also in perch, because then you always do the stop, the spin stop.
And you still are connected to the bait. The line
you feel the strike even when you're even when you are still with your bait. You feel it directly.
This is one we've fished before, you and I, and this is one of the most interesting things always to fish with you. There's nothing new to fish for perch with crankbites, but no one does it and gets so much fish that you do. I think how many have you caught on the crankbait?
Yeah, last trip I had a 7 over kilo.
Oh yes,
and it was a really nice one. And the fish we had before.
Yes, everything.
Nice fish.
Yeah.
So
you really convinced me. Of course, I know you can catch a fish, but I haven't had the confidence to use it like you do. And I just put on a regular little jig. I'm going to change it again.
And the thing that we started to think about this way of fishing was because we do a lot of ice fishing, and we use a sonar to see how the fish reacts when you put down your lure. In winter case, I normally use a big balance.
Yeah.
A lightened balance. And then you really see how the fish are reacting, and the bigger perch, they really like to look at the bait before they decide.
Yeah.
And if you fish too fast, you will not get them. And they can come from 7, 8, 9, even 10 meters and go up to 2 meters and take your bait if you just give them time enough.
Yes.
And then we started to think, okay, could this work also in the summertime? And it does.
Why do you think? How come that we haven't been doing this kind of crankbait fishing for perch? I think they do it abroad, in America and so on.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I fished crankbait before also.
Yes, I know.
But I've just retrieved them fast or used them in trolling. But, and they work also if you just are cranking it like this. But I think that the long stops will really do it for the big perch.
Yeah. I think that many of the strikes we have today has come on the pause.
Yep.
When we just let the bait
Absolutely.
float in the water. It would be nice with a nice fish. And we're going to take some questions from the viewers, absolutely. Just have to put down my rod, and it's just as hard every time. I have to discipline myself.
It's also one interesting thing is that during a fishing day, the perch could bite on shads that you're fishing on the bottom,
Yeah.
and nothing else. Half an hour later, you don't get any strikes at all.
No.
And then it just works with baits that are fished 2 or 3 meters down. We have 5 meters deep here, but we are casting out. It's much deeper. I think we are landing our baits over water that are 10 meters or something. And sometimes it just works to fish bottom, and sometimes you need to fish in the pelagic area, a couple of meters down. And when the fish are really active, they could just be feeding on topwater baits.
Yeah. And hopefully, with some luck, we can use the topwater also, the topwater baits.
Yes.
That's a really fun fishing with the strikes in the surface and everything. So, Kristian, we got a lot of questions, and we have Tobias Imberg who says hello.
Hello.
He's been looking at a Daiwa Tatula trigger 7.1 up to 28 grams, a rod. He loved the action and everything, but he asked if you can throw a bait over 40 grams with it. Do you think, have you fished with the rod?
Yeah, I think you can do that because the rods are in the ProRex series are all very stiff. So if it says 28 or 30 grams, you can easily cast 40 with it. So,
you can do that. Yeah.
So I think there's no problem at all. The weights on the rods are just like a guidance. You can always cast lighter baits and heavier baits, of course. And especially in the ProRex series because they are really stiff.
Yeah, and the ProRex series, you told me that's Daiwa's European series of fishing rods and baits and
rods and baits and reels and accessories for the European Predator series.
Yep.
We call it the ProRex series.
We got one of these wonderful nicknames, the Super Toad. The Super Toad says, hello guys, he wants to know everything, all our secrets. But he wants our top 3 tips for summer fishing for perch, and he's doing his fishing mostly in lakes.
Okay.
So if you only had, if you limit it down to 3 advices, 3 tips how to fish for perch in summertime.
Yeah. Okay. One thing is, if it's a lake fishing, one thing is to try to find areas like this with slopes close to deeper water.
Yeah.
I should say minimum 10, 12 meters or something in this kind of lakes.
Yeah. Is it? That's quite interesting. Also, is it the kind of bottom types?
Yeah.
Should it be rocky? Should it be sandy? Should it be mud? Should it?
In my opinion, it should be the optimum place to fish perch is an underwater mountain or a reef that doesn't go up in the air. It's by 3, 4, 5 meters deep in the shallowest area. And then you have a very steep other end to the deep water, with sand, gravel or rocky bottom, and the other side should be a softer.
Okay, yeah.
And a little shallower,
not like sand or
7, 8 meters or something.
Oh, fish on!
Oh, that's a nice one.
Oh, I can't say that word, but it was close.
You lost.
Oh, bloody hell. But it almost went even worse. Oh, it was a nice strike. It was a big fish.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I see that. I saw that. On the crank. Yes.
On the crank.
Okay.
I love your crank.
that was the
And I was doing the cruise move.
the cruise move. Yeah, that's the first thing. Try to find that kinds of areas, and you can find them. Of course, smaller lakes are not always in the charts that you can find, but almost every time you can talk to some locals, or you can find an old map, handwritten map, written map.
Yeah.
With depths. The second tip I could give is to fish shallow and grass.
Yeah.
That's another option. To find weed like 2.5 meters and places with weed.
Yeah.
And then fish poppers or shads with weedless hooks.
Yeah.
Texas rigs.
We can show them a little bit later on, but you got some rigged, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. That's also very effective. And then the most important tip, I think, is to have patience, because if you target big perch, you could be fishing in an area like this, and the fish can be feeding half an hour in the morning and half an hour in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And you can be in a really good spot and don't have the patience enough to wait for the fish to feed. So
that's interesting. That's one of the things I noticed about this day. I've asked you many times, should we swap places? Should we try there? No. Wait it out. This is a place where the big perch are going to bite eventually.
yeah.
Yeah? I like it. I like it.
I've tried that. I've tried to search big perch many times. When you don't have any bites, you start driving around and search for them, and you don't get anything. But if you stay on a good spot, a spot that you think are good, when the big perch get active and they start feeding, they will find you.
Yeah, I like
They
that.
will- they
They
will
will find
definitely
you and your bait.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. And we've seen it. We've seen it today. When the fish has had one of the few active moments, we've had 3 or 4 strikes at the same spot. So it's very interesting, and it makes fishing a lot easier. Great, that was free advices for succeeding in summer fishing.
Absolutely.
And I'll just have to let go of my rod, even it's very hard. It's so hard. And we'll get some new questions. Why do you think that this is a question from me actually, that perch fishing has increased in popularity the last 3 or 4 years? Or the question is really, why hasn't it always been so popular that it's right now? Because it's great fun.
Yeah, perch fishing have always been popular, but I think it's a lot of new gears coming, like different types of how you fish a shad, like Texas rig, Carolina rigs, and all kinds of rigs, drop shots you can use, and also hard baits are developed more and more, rods, reels, and all the gear around perch fishing are developed more and more, and people think it's fun.
Yeah,
I think it's fun also.
Oh, it's great fun. It's great fun. I think both you and me, we grew up with perch fishing, and I mean, it was everything when you were a kid. Eagles of Sweden says it's fun with another live show, and that's wonderful. And he's wondering if you had a small lake with clear water, a little bit brown but clear water, and its average depth is about 5 meters. It has 13 meter at its deepest point. It's got some mud, but also hard bottom, not so much grass or stone. Where would you look for the perch in a lake like that?
Yeah, that was a short but nice description about the lake. Of course, I would love to see the lake personally, but if you don't know where to start, one good thing could be to look for land heads like the one we have here, because outside land head you almost have areas with maybe a little shallower or maybe a little deeper water, and you always have some rocky grounds and some variations in the ground that looks nice.
Yep.
So
variations.
Yeah, variations.
Is the key
I
word.
should try to find, because it sounded like this. It's average 5 meters and nothing really happens in the lake, but you can always find variations in the lake.
Yeah.
Start there.
Start there. Sounds great. Maybe there will come some questions about it, but I've fished a lot of lakes with crayfish in them, kräftor in Swedish, and sometimes the really big perch they prey and they feed on the crayfish, so that makes it sometimes a little bit different. Have you done a lot of fishing for?
I have.
Crayfish perch.
A few of my favorite lakes holds a great number of crayfish, and then the bigger perch are feeding on them. And you can see the bigger perch, like the 1.2, 1.5 kilo perch. They are really scarred in the inside of the mouth because of all the crayfish they have been feeding. So and that makes fishing a little more difficult.
Yes.
Or easy, because then you have another option also. The option is to fish really slow on the bottom.
Yeah.
And use different types of jig heads or Texas rigs or
and even crayfish imitations, like
crayfish imitations or colors that imitates crayfish.
Yeah.
So that's really fun. I had a couple of nice 1.5 kilo plus perch last autumn in October in a lake like that.
And they are so beautiful. They often have those red fins, and really, you can really tell when you get a crayfish eater. It's like another kind of species almost. Very beautiful. Okay. Well, we had one bite so far.
Yeah, I will move the boat a little bit deeper.
Little bit.
Let's see what happens.
Yep. Yes, because it's this area has different kind of depths. It got so sometimes they will.
I'll try. I'll just make a short move.
Roger Jansson asks if we're going to use any spinnerbaits today.
Spinnerbaits.
Spinnerbaits.
Hey, Roger.
It's a good friend.
I think I know you. Yeah.
Yes. And he especially asked for the red and white.
Yeah, red and white. Yeah, the red and white spinner could be good. We have to use it in emergency situations in the end. It doesn't work.
Okay. It's a classic bait.
Yeah.
It always works.
It always works, especially the red and white one.
Okay. So I presume there's some kind of joke in this.
Yeah, that's the color is connected to one of the world's most famous football teams.
And
it's Degerfors EF.
Okay. Yes, that's. There's some really nice echoes on the sonar. Well, it's always just a question of time. They will bite. I'm sure of it. And someone was asking if we had our phones turned on, and actually we don't. There's some sound coming up from the. It sounds almost like some kind of machine. It's not our phones, so guys, they're off.
Yeah,
we promise.
There's a factory not very far from here, so maybe we can hear that.
Lolo Carlson says Kristian is king. Really nice.
Am I?
And catch a big perch now.
Okay,
he also
thanks.
says.
I will do my best.
Yes.
That's not always so easy in 1.5 hours of fishing.
No, it's not. Oh, they're on the sonar. They are here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just have to let them. Just wait for them to.
You had one on.
Yep.
It was really close.
Mm-hmm. It was
Just
really
set
close,
the
and
hook.
it was a big one.
It's just a matter of setting the hook.
It's just a matter of setting the hook. It always is. We have another guy here who says, Jack Claesson. He asks where you can find big perch in Blekinge. And that was a really big question.
Okay.
In Blekinge.
Yeah, it definitely are. I've never fished perch in Blekinge. I'm sorry. So
perhaps he means in the Baltic Sea, in the archipelago. I don't know.
Maybe, or in some lakes around Blekinge. I fished a lot of pikes and especially salmon in Blekinge, but never perch, to be honest.
Not on the archipelago.
No,
not at all.
Not in Blekinge.
No.
But from the south of Sweden up to mid-Sweden in the archipelago, I've been fishing perch, yes, but not in Blekinge.
Yes. Lolo asks again, Lolo Carlson, what kind of gear are we fishing with? You can start with mine. You can tell me what am I fishing with. It's
we are using the same type of rods, you and I. This is the ProRex AGS 7.1 feet. The casting weight recommended is 10 to 30 grams, but you can of course cast lighter and also heavier baits if you want. This is the AGS rod. This is from the ProRex series, the top rod of the ProRex series, with the high packed, high dense carbon, which makes it very, very light and very, very stiff. Also,
I can tell you that he speaks the truth. It's really light. It's really, really light.
Yeah, and also one of the, I think the Daiwa was first with the fully carbon guides.
Okay.
They are fully carbon, no titanium or other materials.
So this
carbon.
won't break when you, as it often do. When it's full of carbon from.
And the one thing is that it's very, very light, because this guide from an ordinary rod in titanium, it weighs as much as all the guides in this rod.
Okay.
And the other thing, that the guides are not bending. This is have some features also when you're fishing, because they don't vibrate.
No.
If you look at other guides in other metals, they vibrate a little bit, but the carbon guides they don't move at all.
Okay.
So we really feel everything in the water.
Oh, they're very sensitive.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And you can see, and I'm fishing with a bait casting reel. Also, you are fishing with a bait casting reel. I'm using the Cilion.
I got a Steez.
The small Cilion is with the new SV spool. The SV spool is the new lightweight shallow spool concept from Daiwa. You also have it on your reel. This makes it possible to cast very light baits and quite heavy baits also, from 3 up to 80 grams. The SV stands for stress-free versatile. Versatile means that you can cast from 3 grams up to 80 grams.
Okay.
And it's you can't say that bait casting reels are backlash free, but this is close to backlash free as it can be. So the system is really nice. I can really recommend this for perch fishing.
Yep. And if you do a backlash, like I did, you can just adjust the magnetic drag, which I did, and now those days are over.
Yeah. There are some of course some tips how to use your bait casting reel. One thing is to adjust this brake first. That
mechanical brake.
You just loosen it until you start feeling the spool is moving, and then you click it, and then when it stops moving, then it's right.
Yeah.
and then you start with your casting brake. Start with maximum,
Mm.
and then
And
you
then
just
fine
work,
tune it.
then you
Yeah.
just work down. I have it on 5 now, in a scale from 0 to 20.
And because I'm quite useless, I have mine at 6.5. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. That's another interesting thing. Just a few years ago, no one fished with a. I hope I say it right now. Is this a bait caster? They say it the backwards. This is a spinning rod. A spinning reel.
This is the bait casting reel, yes. And then
This
that's the spinning reel.
Okay. Okay. Yes, they do it the other way around. Yep.
Yeah, and, that's true. And the thing was that it wasn't so easy because the reels were not made for light casting. It was more or less made for heavier baits.
Yep.
And it was really tricky to cast. If you are a medium good caster, you had problems with lightweights. Now with the new spool systems and the lightweight spools and the brakes, you can be a beginner with no problem.
Oh.
So yeah.
No, it's really gone to the better, the development of these reels, because they were not so easy to cast with just a few years ago. Great.
Yes, that's about our gear. Then
Yeah.
I use a 0.10 braid.
Oh.
During you see the stop, the long
Yeah,
stop
the
I
stop
did.
bit. Do you think is there an English word for what I'm doing now? I'm leasing your fish.
Yeah.
If your body has a bite, you quickly cast in the same spot.
It's a least perch.
It's a least perch.
We do it all the time in pike fishing. We try to steal the friend's fish by calling it the least pike, but,
Least
but
pike.
it's in fact a stolen pike.
A stolen pike. That's now when we're targeting big perch, these are often quite almost solitary fish. They're moving on their own, and I wonder if that's the key thing that makes it a little bit harder, because if we were going for a small perch, we could maybe had 5 or 10 right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. I think that perch up to a certain size, they go in skulls, even quite big skulls, up to, I think up to, my experience is up to 1.3 kilo or something.
Yeah.
Like 45 centimeter fish. In a big lake like this, you have a lot of 45 centimeter fish. But then, eventually, the body starts to die for some reasons.
Yeah.
They are eaten, they are caught, they are dying because of age. And in the end, fewer and fewer are left in the skull, and finally, the biggest one is by themselves. And they might not be as fast as before, because they don't want to hunt for smelt and bleak out in the open pelagic area. Then they go in the shallower maybe, or in the rocky areas, try to feed on crayfish and roach or
a little bit bigger prey.
Yeah. So that's my theory. I might be wrong, but that's a theory.
No, I think it's quite intelligent theory. I'd never heard it before. You mean that the school eventually loses some of its fish?
Yeah.
And why shouldn't it be like that? Quite interesting. Never heard it before.
I could be wrong, but
No, I like it.
you have to prove
I
me
like
wrong.
it. It's just as good as any other guess.
Yeah.
Lurre asked, when you go jig fishing with different techniques and more or less only catches pike, is this something you're doing wrong, or is the place wrong? I've only had some perch, but more pike than perch. So I think I know what he means.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think also I know what he means. That
It's like a curse sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes you think that pike fishing is easier than perch fishing, and it might be because perch and in fact big perch is one of the most trickiest species you can target.
Yes.
But
Really moody.
But I think that it could also be that in some periods during the day, pike are more active.
Yeah.
And they hit everything from small baits to big baits, and they just smash everything during a period of day, and that might be the period when you are fishing.
Yeah.
And a few hours later, perch might be more active, and then you don't get any pike.
No.
So tricky question, very tricky question, but just keep on fishing.
Yes.
I think because eventually you will find a school of bigger perch in that area also.
Really, that's the secret of fishing. Keep fishing.
Yeah, that's always
Keep
the
the
thing.
bait in the water.
You're just one cast from success.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, you changed techniques. Now we're going for a
a
jig.
I tried the little deeper area with the shad.
We're down to outside there 6, 7, 8 meters.
Approximately, yes. Yeah. Let's see if I can find a bigger one that are swimming or resting close to the bottom.
Well, I think the conditions are just looking better and better.
Better and better, yeah. We had a lot of wind. When we came here this afternoon, we had about 10 meters per second northwest wind, and really hard and difficult conditions, and it was really cold also. But it's getting better, it's getting warmer, you can feel it. And the wind is dropping. I hope it's for our benefit.
Yeah. And actually that's one of the nice things about perch. It really likes sunny weather and for once nice condition also for the fishermen.
Yeah, that's a good question. What kind of conditions are the best conditions for perch?
Yeah.
I should say that the kind of conditions that the wind direction, start with the wind direction because we are talking about wind. The wind direction from start should be the wind direction which is the most common. Which is the most common wind direction here in Sweden?
You're making me look
Do
like
you know
a fool. Is it north? No,
no,
no, it's not.
It's southwest.
It's southwest. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I think it's always north when I'm fishing.
Southwest, yeah, but southwest is the most common.
Southwest.
Yeah.
Okay, I should have known that. I didn't.
And then of course it's nice if you have sun. Of course, it's nice if you have sun, but that's not needed to be the best conditions. The best conditions is that you have a very stable pressure.
Yep.
Not pressure that are rapidly
They are
increasing
pressure,
or rapidly decreasing, because that is not good for perch. So stable pressure, if you have the same pressure the whole day or the day before, even if it's like 1020 or if it's 990, doesn't matter, because the fish will adjust to that. But,
okay. You don't have like a preferable pressure, air pressure?
Yeah, of course.
If you could decide the conditions for yourself.
If I could decide the conditions, I would love to have 25 degrees warm, no wind at all, and 1030.
1030. Well, almost the same as perfect weather for sandal fishing. Yeah.
But those days are very quickly counted here in Sweden.
Yeah. Okay. Krille Ö says it's nice to see you perch fishing, Kristian and Jano, and he asks if we're ever gonna see you doing some harling for salmon. live. That would be something. That would be really nice. Hauling fishing for salmon. You've done that a lot too.
Yeah, hauling salmon is one of my favorite things with my family. As a summer vacation thing we do. You can do it with the family, and you can sit in the boat. You can sit in the wooden boat, and the boat is smelling tar.
Yeah.
And you can hear the water. You can be part of the stream, and you can go hauling for big salmon. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it takes quite a lot of experience how to row the boat and to.
Yeah, of course that's the same thing that fly fishing, because you have to present the fly. In this case, I mostly go hauling by fly.
Yeah.
Because you have to present the fly in the same way that you do when you are fly fishing.
Yep.
Of course, and then you have to row the boat on the right locations and in the right way, of course. So,
but we can tell clearly that we'll consider it. It sounds really, really nice. Really good idea.
I was just thinking that perch is one of the most tricky fishes, big perch to have on film in 1.5 hours. But I think
fish on!
Yeah, but this, my friend,
I think it's a green fish.
This is an extremely big perch.
Yeah. I would.
No, I lost it.
Oh, you lost it.
I'm happy I lost it.
It was a pike.
Yeah, it was a pike.
We have to rename this to pike fishing with Kristian.
Yeah.
And it hit.
Yeah.
Well, you got to keep the jig.
Yeah.
At least.
Just a small bite mark in the fluorocarbon. No problem. It was a pike. It was a quite nice pike.
You had a great rod bend. That's something we haven't talked about, leaders and so on. But you prefer fluorocarbon?
Yes, I use 0.30, 0.35 or something in this kind of fishing. When I'm in areas with a lot of pikes, I even use 0.50 sometimes.
Excuse me, but I have to say we got perch.
That's perch, yes.
Under the boat, so let's hope that they're ready to bite now.
Yeah, I hope so. Because we are fishing perch, not pike.
Yeah. Come on, perchy perch.
Come on.
So, we'll keep it in mind about hauling fishing for salmon. And as you said, it might be the most trickiest thing that you can that you can imagine.
At least if you want to have a salmon in 1.5 hours, it could be tricky. Even 1.5 weeks can be tricky sometimes.
Roger Jansson is asking about your personal best for sander, actually.
For sander?
For sander.
It's 9.3.
Okay, that's what he says, that another one got one at 9.4.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's a friend, I don't know.
Yeah, it's 9.3, and I was...
that's a great fish.
I was also fishing pelagic sharpshooting from 2010 until 13, 14. Yep. And then I got a little bit bored about that, because it was much looking in the sonar, but I do it a couple of times every year, and it's fun.
Yep, I think so too. Johan Ulstin asks, what kind of baits are you fishing with today? I think we've covered it. You're doing a soft bait right now, a jig, and I'm fishing with the... What's this?
This is a Prorex flat bait, a crank that is. It has a lot of noise. If you give it bait to me, it's a lot of noise.
Yep.
And it's 10 centimeters long, and it goes down to approximately 2.5 meters.
Yep. And this is colored
really,
like
really good for targeting bigger perch.
Yep. And this is something like a hybrid for rainbow. Well, I think the color imitates almost everything.
Yeah, all the kind of pelagic bait fish you can find.
Oh, lots of baits. Yes, Johan Jonasson says, what would life be without live fishing shows? It keeps the void out when you can't be on the lake on your own. It fills the void. I like it. I like it. And we love doing these live fishing shows. It's actually the most fun you can have.
It's exciting because...
You think we're going to move a little bit?
Yeah, I was just moving a boat about 20-25 meters.
Yep.
Let's find out if you can...
We got some fish on the sonar, and there's absolutely a perch going up and down. So it's just a question of time, once again.
It's always the question of time. It's always...
Was that a song by the Perch Mod, or was that's a question of lust, perhaps? Oh, well. Oh, there's some really nice echoes.
It is.
I think that might be schoolfish, I'm not sure. Sometimes but on the bottom, so they should hit your soft bait.
No, I changed to the crank also. But
perhaps
try out the soft bait rod if you want. So.
Yeah, I'll try it. Patience. What about patience? Is that important for a fisherman?
I'm a black belter.
I know. Is there even anything worse than a black belter?
I don't know. If there are, I think I will have that also. So yeah, I have no problem of the most crazy thing I did this winter. I was sitting in the same ice fishing hole for 8 full hours.
That's a record. I've never done anything like that.
That's really crazy. And I caught one fish.
But it was the right fish, I
It
presume.
was 1.42.
Yep, that's a great
That's a nice
fish.
But
A black belter in
took
patience.
a lot of hours.
I think that's necessary if you want to be the kind of guy that you are, the one that catches big fish and often. So
And
I think it's really important to
same
have
thing with all
patience.
the predators like pike and sander, and they have the bigger fish are really active in small periods during the day.
Yeah. We got a guy called 55 Naughty. He says that he's heard, yeah, these nicknames are great. He's heard from many fishermen that you shouldn't have any quotation shit in front of your bait when you're going for perch. How do you do? Do you use a bait lock, or do you tie the bait to the leader? He's talking about keeping everything clean.
Yeah, I know what he is up to. Yeah. Yes, I use a small bait lock. I do. Of course, if you go really finesse fishing with smaller jigs and even lighter gear, then I would also just tie a loop knot.
Yep.
I would do that.
A loop knot.
But this is I couldn't call this a finesse fishing,
no,
because we're using really big cranks, so it doesn't matter really.
I think the only thing that matters is that whatever you do, the bait must, the movement of the bait must be the same, must be preserved, so that your knot or your bait lock doesn't interrupt with the bait's movement.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of bad example of people not using those loop knots or just tying the line onto the bait, and the bait changes its movements or it reduces its movements almost to nothing, and then it's quite important. So that's the answer. Simon Tamminen asks, hello Simon, he's a really regular watcher of our live fishing shows. He says, hello boys, which type of baits is your favorite search bait? Do you use the technique of searching the fish, or?
Oh, in fact, I don't, because I more or less park on spots like this, and then I try to fish a little different during the day. Or if you're two guys fishing, the other guy starts fishing bottom, the other guys start fishing mid-water, and somewhere during the evening or early morning we can also have perch feeding in the surface. So I don't really use search baits, to be honest.
No, you skip that part.
Yeah.
That you can connect that to confidence. You have confidence in what you're doing and experience. The more you fish, you can perhaps skip those steps, like using search baits and so on. There's nothing wrong with it, I don't mean, but if you know what you're doing, maybe you don't have to. Well, I'm not sure I can say this. Suomela.se says moro to Kristian from me, Jano.
Oh, okay.
Is that a nice word? Oh, fish on.
Yeah, and I'm afraid that was a
pike again.
That was a big perch.
Oh, it was a big perch.
No,
it was a pike. I see.
Oh,
I see.
Yeah,
I see. And he kept the bait, or?
Yep.
Okay. That happens.
That happens.
Too bad. Do you want
I will
something?
change to the other gear.
Okay.
That's the thing when you are fishing crank. Sometimes you hit the pike.
Yeah.
Also, but you can do it also with the soft bait, of course. So.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. But we had one pike before.
Yes.
A small one.
Yeah, you had a 2.5, 3 kilo pike.
Yeah.
And but this is the kind of area that have a lot of bait fish, and of course pike goes from feed here also. So
Yes.
And if you fish with a 10 centimeter crank, you will eventually end up catching pike. Normally it doesn't end as bad as that, because normally you get the pike into the net and can release it. But I hope he will manage to get the crank out.
Yep. We got a question from Georgios Landin Santopoulos. Hello, Jano and Kristian. I'm wondering what Kristian's personal best, the biggest fish, is for perch.
Okay,
What's your
the
biggest perch?
Perch. It's in fact a big perch caught during pike fishing.
Okay.
I have two perch over 2 kilo, and one during ice fishing and one during casting. And the 2 kilo during casting is caught during pike fishing.
Yep.
And it's 2,250, but it's caught on a big pike lure. So
Okay.
and that could also happen
From time to time, actually, on jerk baits, and it's not that uncommon. It's quite common, actually.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get those really big perch as followers on the pike baits, and you just stand there, wish for a lighter rod and a smaller bait. Yeah. What's the biggest one from the ice?
Oh, it's a 2020 grams. So
2020.
Just over 2 kilo.
Okay.
And it's from Lake Vänern.
Oh, I see.
So it's a nice perch on shallow water, just 2 meter water.
Yep. Tobias Bäckström asks if you could film the boat a little bit. I don't know if you can manage that, Cotton. Film the boat. You will see some filming equipment, and we'll see a casting deck. I don't know, but of course we can do that.
Of course.
We've already said it's from the beginning. It's a Buster.
It's a Buster XL Pro, and it's a hull made all new hull, 2 years old approximately, which is very, really nice when you go in rough conditions with high waves.
Yep.
You really go dry.
You've used this, am I wrong, in Norway?
Yeah,
On
I
the
had
open
it
sea?
last year. I made 2 trips up to northern Norway, and we had, especially the first week, we had rough conditions. But the second week we had really nice conditions. But the first week we really had to test it in like 3 meter waves, and it was really great.
Yep.
No problem.
Oh, it's a big boat.
Yeah, it's 594 long.
Simon Tamminen asks, he's looking for a new rod for perch to fish hard baits. Any suggestion, Kristian?
A perch for hard baits. Or
a rod.
A rod.
A rod.
Sorry, a rod for
a
hard
rod
baits.
fishing hard baits.
Yeah. As I told you, my favorite is the 10 to 30 gram Prorex 7.1 feet.
The one I'm fishing with.
You're fishing with. That's really, you can feel everything on that rod.
It's really sensitive.
Yeah, it's really nice. And if you want to have a spinning rod, I can recommend the spinning rod I'm using right now. It's the Prorex AGS 8 foot long, 7 to 28 gram. And it's called Jigger also. It's made for jigging. And it's really have a little more sensitive rod tip, and it's great to cast like 10, 15, 20 gram jig heads.
Okay.
Perfect. But it works also for cranks.
So Peter, I said Simon, go buy one of those.
Go and buy your Prorex rod.
And do it now. Linus, also Fiskefan, also a guy that watches our programs a lot.
Yeah.
Hi Linus. He's asking, how long? What's your longest perch?
That's a good question. To be honest, I haven't measured the length of the biggest one.
Well,
that was a mistake, but it was a few centimeters, over 50 maybe. That's my guess, but I have a couple of 50 centimeters, but not longer. So this year I have 2 49 centimeter fish. So yeah.
What's most important to you, the length or the weight?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It depends a little bit from lake to lake, because I know in this lake we have very long perch, and they don't get as heavy because they are more slim.
Yep.
Then it's funnier to talk about length.
Yep.
But then you have other lakes and other areas, like in the Swedish archipelago, when you can have a short perch that it's still over 1.5 kilos. So
Yep.
then I, of course, like to talk about weight. But yeah.
But I liked it. It's a good answer, because just a few years ago no one cared about the length for perch. It was only the weight.
Yeah.
And actually it's quite satisfying to catch a perch that has, well, it is 50 centimeters or even longer, because that's an old, wonderful, magnificent fish, and if it weighs 1.2 or 2.3, it's quite, well, it's interesting, but the length is also very, very interesting.
It is.
And if we go to our European neighbors, as in Belgium or Holland or even Germany, they don't care about the weight. They just want to measure it. How long is the fish?
Absolutely. You can see it on Facebook. I really follow my Dutch and German friends, and French friends also, and all of my foreign friends from Europe. They just talk about centimeters.
Yep.
even when they come up to Sweden and fish pike, and I can see the pike is really, it's a really nice long pike, maybe 13, 14 kilo. They just measure it and they say it was 121 centimeters.
That's the most important thing. Oh, I thought you had a fish on.
Nope.
No.
You will find out.
We're always just one cast from a big fish. Remember that. In every cast, a big fish can take your bite. You're taking us up a little bit shallower?
Yes, I will
That's
try.
4.5 meters or something?
I will try to follow this steeper area and go a little bit north, closer to the land head. Let's see if
we can find them.
We can find a one that are active. The pike were active.
The pike were active, yes. Is it? Have you got any experience of when the pike is active? Is it?
Yeah.
Are they scaring the perch or anything? Or
of course, normally when you get a lot of pikes, and then you don't get a lot of big perch, and vice versa. So it could be that when the pike are active, the perch are moving, or not in the area.
No.
But then sometimes you can get a lot of nice perch, and bang, in the middle of everything you get a pike. So
yeah,
you never know.
Well, we got a question in Finnish. So, Mr. Keskitalo,
thanks.
Should I try? No, I don't think so.
I don't think you should try.
You have it there.
Okay. It's Sami Rantala that asks what length of the rods I use for perch and sander.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a not very easy question to answer. It should be, but it isn't. For different situations, I prefer a longer rod.
Okay.
Like if you're fishing from land or you're fishing in a creek or stream, I would like to have an 8.5, maybe 8.7, 9-foot long rod.
Yep.
To be able to fish drop shots and to be able to cast with long Carolina rigs maybe. When I fish in the boat, I prefer shorter rods like the 7-foot. I think the 7-foot is perfect.
Okay.
7.1 feet. Also for sander, I don't think that I need to have a longer rod than approximately 7-foot.
Okay.
So, but it varies a little bit depending on the situation.
So a little bit according to your how much money you got in your wallet, you should buy some different rods for different situations.
Start with a 7-foot rod.
Yep. That's a good compromise.
Yeah.
A 7-foot. Yep. I think that the trend is going for shorter rods, isn't it? Is that right?
Yeah, I know that many are using 6-foot and 6.1 or 6.3 or something. Yeah, then they work nice also.
Yeah. But I think a 7-foot is quite a short rod.
7-foot is my favorite right now. It
Great.
might be 8 or 6 next year, but today is
Yeah.
7.5.
You have the privilege to change your mind, actually. Yep. Kim Martinsson asks, he says, hi, and what is the difference between the reels Tatula CT and Tatula CT Type R, except the color? I don't know, but you do.
That's a good question. I should be able to answer that, but please send the message to me by messenger, and I will answer that. I really don't remember in the moment.
And
I will look it up. Send me a message.
Actually, if you don't follow Kristian on Facebook or on your Facebook, the fan page, that Best Fishing Crew, isn't it?
Yeah, we
they
have
should do it.
Anders Cruz and I have the Facebook page that we are are writing and taking a lot of pics about our fishing, and it's best fishing crew. Yes, that's true.
There's a lot of great pics on that Facebook page. So follow it, guys. Best fishing crew.
Best in Swedish could be best, or it can also be beast.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
It's up to you. Yeah. Okay. There's a guy, Jay Catalus, who asks, what kind of spots should I be looking for when fishing for sander in midsummer? He's fishing in a narrow lake. So that's a sander question. Spin fishing for sander.
Yeah, I was spin fishing sander a few days ago with my father-in-law. He's 75 this year, so...
Still going strong, catching big fish.
Strong, and we started to search for sander a little bit deeper areas, like 9 meters, 10 meters, and we saw some nice fish on the sonar, but we didn't get them. And a couple of hours later, we went really shallow, like 1.5, 2 meters, and rocky grounds, and we caught a lot of sander, really shallow.
It's great fun.
So. Yeah, try them both. If it doesn't work in the steeper areas, in deeper areas, in the slopes, try to find some rocky places, even shallow.
In my favorite lake, Lake Mälaren, it's quite interesting because the sander likes the same kind of spots that we are fishing today, steeps and hard bottom and so on. And when you do find the sanders, the perch is not there often. I think they don't like each other. There's something about sander and perch that they don't mix very well. So you either get sander or you get perch. Of course you can get a perch sometimes, but there's something about it. And those spots often fish very good year after year when you find the sander. They're very, very local. Uh, 55 Naughty asks again. 30 years ago, when you bought a lure, there was a picture with a knot on the backside. I think it was called the bait knot. Is it still a good knot, or what kind of knot do you use to your bait locks or to your bait lock? What kind of knots do you use?
That's a difficult question. Not easy to answer in just one sentence, because it depends on what type of line you're making the knot. If you use a knot in a thick, very thick mono, or is it a fluorocarbon, or is it a braid, or is it a very thin braid? That means that you need to be very, very precise on what kind of knots you use on different kind of line.
Yep.
In fluorocarbon, I use a 3-turn single greener knot.
Okay.
Normally.
When you apply it to the bait or to the
normally
the bait
a
lock.
3-turn single greener knot.
Okay.
When I do a knot on a braid, even if it's a thin or thick braid.
Do you mean when you connect
the
two different materials?
Not the different materials. That's another question also.
Okay.
But because then you could use all kinds of tricky knots. But if you connect it to a bait lock or a swivel, then I use a double line all through with a tri-line knot. That's a knot that needs to be you need to practice that knot a few times, but that's 100% foolproof. I've tried that in Norway during halibut fishing, and it's also tested by the Swedish company Autoliv that makes the airbags, and they made some some testing in the lab with all kinds of knots, and that's really the top braid knot.
Okay, okay. I've never done it. Interesting. Perhaps you can find it on YouTube, tutorial or something.
Yeah, maybe that's.
There are so many tutorials.
Yeah,
actually,
you can find everything on YouTube. I
Mm-hmm.
think.
Great. But when you connect like fluorocarbon and braided line, what kind of knot do you use?
You can use the most simple and easiest way of doing that. I use a small swivel like this.
Okay, okay.
This is it's a foolproof way of doing it, and it makes it very easy to connect a new fluorocarbon leader if it's got broken in the teeth of the pikes or something.
Okay.
The other way of doing it, of course, use a double greener knot.
Yeah.
A lot of turns on the thin braid, and fewer turns on the fluorocarbon.
Yeah. I often use that one myself.
Yeah.
The greener, the double greener.
Yeah. But I think a small swivel like that is great. I use it a lot.
Well, it's hard fishing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Not
But
very
we never get up. Black belts,
No, we never
belters
give up.
in patience. Perhaps we'll run out of battery, but we'll never give up.
Nope.
Okay. That's a lot of questions. That's
yes.
great.
Keep them coming.
Yep. We will. They will. Somla asks again, Kristian, what time is your favorite for perch? Morning, middle of the day, evening, and so on.
Okay.
He also says shit
Yeah.
fishing. That's great.
Thanks. That's a very good question, and I will tell you. This time of year, when we have short nights and very light conditions, because it really doesn't get really dark. It's quite light also in the middle of the night. I think the best time to target big perch if you're really early, like 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
That's a really good time. The other time is closing now because we are close to 8 o'clock from 9 to 10, 9 to 11 during midsummer or during late June and July. It's a great time also. And then it also something depending on which lake you're fishing in. If you're fishing really clear water lakes, my opinion is that if you want to pick out the best time in those kind of lakes, it's really when it's getting light and it's when it's getting dark.
Yep.
And even when it gets dark, you can still be fishing 1 more hour.
Dinner and breakfast.
Yep.
And breakfast. I saw some nice fish on the bottom, so I changed to the soft bait.
That's good. That's good.
The 10 grams jig head.
You should do that.
Perhaps, you never know.
You never know.
Oh, there are some more fish. We haven't talked a lot about using sonar for perch fishing, but it's a very useful tool.
Of course, both down scan and side scan.
Yep.
I use them both because seeing both the baitfish goals and seeing also goals of perch, and also to find out what kind of ground you have around you.
Yes, hard bottom,
If it's
soft bottom.
If it's hard bottom, soft bottom, if you have some rocks or structures. So sonar really helps.
Yep, I think it's very useful. Today I don't think if I could fish efficiently without a sonar.
No.
I would be handicapped, crippled.
I have sonar for all my fishing nowadays, even ice fishing.
Yeah?
I really feel handicapped when I don't have sonar in ice fishing.
Me too. I can't go out fishing without the sonar. It's silly, but it's the truth.
Yeah, sonar is important.
Sonar in ice fishing now, I'm completely lost. I feel completely lost without it. Okay. Then on the striped perch says, use a duck fin with a 25 grams head and you get a fish.
Okay.
Okay. We're almost doing that. Isn't that a duck fin?
Yeah,
I'm fishing.
that's a duck fin, and I think you have a 20-gram head. So
I think I have a 10 gram.
You have a 10 gram. Okay.
So I'm doing it wrong.
Okay,
anyway.
you're doing it wrong. But you're fishing with the duck fin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Johan Ulsten asked, what's the water temperature right now? And it's a question. 18 degrees.
1-8.
Yeah. And the importance of the temperature while fishing for perch. What do you have to say about that? It's also a question you can talk a lot about.
Of course, if you talk about the open water season, early spring, sometimes you need to be fishing really slow.
Really slow.
Really slow, and when you have low water temps. My first boat open water trip this year, I was fishing in a shallow area with approximately 1.5 meter water and a lot of weed, and the perch were extremely difficult and slow. I was just fishing with the weightless, the weedless hook.
Okay.
No weight at all. That was slow.
That's almost a suspending bait. Yeah.
Talking about fishing slowly. And then of course during late autumn you get the similar thing that the water temp goes down and the fish are more active, a little bit deeper. During summer from May to beginning of October, then you have fish all over the water, from the bottom up to the surface in periods. So the water temp is important, of course.
Yes, it is. Can it be too hot for perch fishing?
I haven't experienced that.
No.
But, because the fish always adapts to the conditions and the water they live in. So even if the water temp is 25, 27, they will adapt to that, and in some way they are used to that also.
Yeah. Was it a fish? I heard a noise over there. I think it was a fish.
Nope.
At least I've heard a fish.
It's just a splash from the engine.
Okay. Oh, some nice fish on the sonar.
Yeah, I see that. We are
quite close to the bottom. That's perch.
That's most likely
perch. So tricky.
Most likely, yes.
Sometimes so easy and sometimes so...
Yeah, I would love to show you guys a 45, maybe bigger centimeter perch. In this lake they are really gray and black. They don't have so much other colors. They are gray and black. So they look really nice.
They lack a lot of the green colors that they often have.
They don't have any green colors at all. So that can also vary from lake to lake. If you don't believe me, you might have be forced to look on the Fisheco Facebook page. You never know.
We got a small film up from this afternoon, yes, with a 43 centimeters, very nice perch.
Yeah.
So they are here, but they're not in the mood right now.
Nope.
It would be very nice if they change their minds. So now you're you're fishing another bait?
I took a smaller crank.
Okay.
To try out.
Okay. Peter Lindberg asks, he says, hello Christian, what is your favorite color on a crankbait in sunny weather and in cloudy weather? So you change your colors depending on the,
yes,
on the weather?
I do, yeah, because you have to think that the fish are looking at the bait from below and wants to have the profile shown up towards the sky. So yeah, I would choose a red one when you have conditions that are really dark, red or brown, or even black could be a good color when you have really dark conditions.
Yeah. Darker baits in darker conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you have really light conditions, I would use the kind of color you are putting on now, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good color in light conditions.
Show it again.
Like
Show it to the
very silvery white.
The one we showed before.
You know that white shad, like, I think I have a white shad here somewhere. Don't I have? No. A white colored shad is the most selling shad in Europe.
Okay.
We don't use white
No,
shads.
I said
a
it
lot
can't be in Sweden, no.
But in Europe they use a lot of white shads.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I've never seen one in the stores, in the shops.
No.
Perhaps there are. I've seen some white, of course, soft baits, but I don't know if I've ever seen a shad.
Yeah, white soft bait, what shad? Yes.
Yeah.
I was talking about shad,
Yeah.
not a
No,
crank.
I see, not a crankbait, yes. Mikael Breding asks, what kind of colors would you recommend in a lake with colored water and bad visibility? I don't know if the English word is humus,
Yeah.
but colored, brown colored water and bad visibility.
Yeah. Yeah, the lake we are fishing today have not really bad visibility, but anyhow a colored water.
Yeah.
And excuse me, Jan, I will fetch the scissors.
Okay.
I'm using. I think the favorite in this lake is colors that are very visible, like red, red and brown. Because those colors are very visible in muddy waters.
Yes.
It sounds crazy, but they are.
Mm. Have you experimented or used some of these UV concept lures?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
One of my favorite colors is, in fact, a pearl white UV colored duckfin.
Okay.
Also in pike fishing, there are some Prorex duckfins that are really UV and extremely nice. You fished with one of them in the live show with Anders.
Okay. I didn't know that.
And it worked.
But it was a great bait.
Yeah.
We got a lot of pike on that.
Yeah. And one of the colors was UV.
Okay. I didn't know that. Sorry.
It was.
But I liked it. I liked it a lot. Klaus Hultman asks, he says, hi guys, have you ever experimented with drop shops and tube flies or streamers? He's an old fly fisherman and he asks if any one of us have tried it.
Yes, that's a good question.
Interesting.
I haven't tried that during casting, but in ice fishing, especially in Lake Vättern, in the clear water ice fishing, a small red fly, or a small fly, like really small, could sometimes be very good above the lure. So yeah, try it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, tie some flies and try.
And just an ordinary drop shot tackle, and
Yeah.
and why not?
Flies are working for other species, so why not in casting for perch?
And also in streams and fishing for perch in streams and rivers, it absolutely it should work.
Yep.
But I've never done it. I've never done it. Nu kommer det. Mike Luajärvi says Onko Madolista, and that concludes.
Is it possible?
It
Yeah, you have an excellent Finnish.
Sada kuva kajun neiteste.
Yeah, you can take a picture of the sonar.
Okay.
Yeah, he wants to have a view of the sonar. Yes. Now it's in fact in this moment it's empty, but now and then we had a lot of perch passing.
I didn't know I spoke Finnish.
You're an excellent, excellent in Finnish.
Perhaps I have some Finnish ancestors or something.
Brilliant Finnish.
Brilliant Finnish. A multilingual,
Multilinguistic man.
I didn't know what I said, but it sounded great. That's funny. Well, thank you, Mike. Retrofik 89 asks, and maybe you have answered this question already, but Kristian, do you ever fly fish for perch, or is it only spin fishing?
No,
no, you.
I do fly fish for perch.
You do
yes,
fly
I
fish
do,
for
I
perch.
do. In fact, I did it with my wife last summer in this lake.
Okay.
And I was in somewhere in beginning or mid-August. We had a lot of nice warm days with calm winds. So we went here and prepared some poppers. So we made popper fly fishing and caught a couple of kilo plus fish on poppers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was really great. I remember that day. It was, so I don't do it so often, but it's really nice to do. And I know that it's very effective also if you do it with all kind of streamers. So, but popper is really super fun.
Yep. I've never done it.
Fly fish with poppers.
I'm a keen fly fisherman, but actually I've never gone for perch, and I really should do. I got some excellent waters at home with a lot of top water action, and I've only seen the videos and on YouTube, and it looks really fun. Okay. Kenny Johansson asks, and this is one of those questions when you have to be very specific.
Okay.
So he says, what's your 5 best baits or lures for perch? You can only, from now on, you can only use 5
Only
for the
fish
rest
with 5.
for the rest of your life.
Okay.
Sad but true.
Oh,
that's a song by Metallica.
Sad but true. You need to have 5 baits for 5 different conditions, of course.
Yep.
You need to have some good rubbers, and of course, I might be a little influenced by Daiwa, but in fact, one of my favorite is the.
Show it to the camera.
In this case, I am using it in a weedless hook. It's the Daiwa Duckfin. This is a really nice bait that moves even in slow speeds. The other bait should be some kind of crank, maybe that flat bait you are using to fish a little bit higher up in the water. The third should be a small jerk bait, like 7, 8, 10 centimeters.
Like a classic jerk bait.
That's a classic jerk bait. Number 4 should of course be a surface bait or even 2 surface baits. I would choose a popper for big perch, and I would also use. It's a mess of baits here. I would also use a really surface bait like a walk the dog bait or a jointed bait like this that goes just under the surface. When perch don't take the popper, but you can see them hunt close to the surface, this kind of bait could be really good. Just goes like 5 centimeters under the surface. That's 5 baits.
That's 5 baits. Well done.
But not very easy question to answer.
No. And now, Kristian, we're actually working overtime.
We are.
I think we are.
You're kidding.
And no, I'm not. And there's nothing better than working overtime, actually.
No.
So let's go for another few minutes and see if we can.
It's nice to work overtime when you're fishing.
Yeah.
and
see if
some other cases it's not so nice, but in fishing it's okay.
It would be nice to have a nice perch.
Yeah, you have seen them. You know that they are here.
Oh yes,
so.
oh yes.
But we are targeting big fish, so. This is a loop knot. I made a loop knot.
You made a loop knot?
Yeah.
Yes. It makes the lure to move very freely and
yes, and I will
won't be affected by the leader.
Extra minutes with my surface bait. You don't see any perch in the surface, but you never know.
No.
They are close.
I've seen some fish in the surface actually, very high up on the sonar, but so you never know.
You never know. They just show up.
You fish those surf baits a little bit like a jerk bait.
Yeah, if you are fishing a popper, you're of course popping it like this, and then you can also be fishing this kind of surface bait like a little jerk bait, but you have to be careful not to jerk it too hard.
I think we just passed a big fish. It's a pike or something. It's a really big fish.
Looks like a big perch, maybe too big.
It can be, yes. Yes, it's a little bit...
That's a pike-ish perch.
Very pike-ish. Or too big perch. Yeah. Very close together, I think.
Could be.
I could prefer that. Well, keep the questions coming. Oscar Holm is asking what kind of depth are we searching for the perch right now? And
yeah, if we target for the bigger perch, I would like to have deeper than 5 meters.
Yep.
We are in fact on 5 meters casting, but we are casting much deeper. It's like 10 meters where we are landing with the baits.
They want to see our rods bend,
yep.
And so do we.
We had some pike.
Yeah.
You can watch the replay and see
us lose
pike.
some pike. Lolo Carlson asks if there are any good places for perch in Lake Hjälmaren. I know you fished a bit in the Hjälmaren.
I've done that both from ice and from boat. Yes, there are a lot of nice spots on Lake Hjälmaren.
Yeah.
Just contact me on Messenger and I will give you some advice. No problem.
That's very generous of you.
It's a big lake. There's fish enough for everybody.
There are some who's asking where we're fishing, and we have a kind of a policy or whatever, and we never say unless it's a very common water. It's on the edge of a small lake in the middle of Sweden, and it contains some fish.
Yeah.
So you won't get the exact position, sorry, or the name, and actually, one of the really nice things about fishing is finding your own waters.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
And,
that's really true.
mainly to know what to search after.
I get a lot of satisfaction on trying out new waters and hopefully succeed.
I am always every year trying to find 2 new lakes.
Yeah.
Both for perch and for pike, because I think it's really nice to do that. And also one thing is that during a period of time, your old spots doesn't work as good anymore.
Mm.
For
It happens.
Several reasons. It could be other people fishing, a lot of fishing pressure on. You need to find new waters, and it's also fun.
Yep.
And then you take your knowledge with you to a new lake and you use it, and then you try to find similar spots.
I think it's really fun trying out new waters and cracking the code.
Yep.
So perhaps we're closing in to some perch now. I think so.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Is
activity.
it bait fish or is it?
It's a lot of activity in
It's
the.
a lot of activity
sonar.
on the sonar. We might be. Oh yes, it's perch.
Yep.
It's perch. So we could be close there, from the bottom up to 2.5 meters. So they're on the lower part of. Oh, this is very interesting. Look at the sonar.
Yeah, there's a lot of fish.
Perhaps.
Let's see. Let's see. We can make it 5 to 12 here. In this last minute.
Yep.
Yeah, you lost an important perch, Jano.
Yes, in the beginning.
Yeah, that was a really nice fish.
Mm. And I can almost guarantee that it was a perch.
Yeah, it was.
Absolutely. It's
It
nothing of the characteristics of a pike. So it was really. You lose some and you.
Sometimes
catch
you
some.
lose, sometimes you win. That's the thing in fishing.
Okay. Questions coming. Lone Moose #1 asks, where do you look for perch in a slowly current water, or in a river or in a stream?
Yeah, I was expecting that question, and,
Yep.
and I don't fish current waters so much, but when I do, I did it this spring. I search for areas in the river or the stream that are not influenced by the current as much.
Okay.
Slower parts,
Backwaters.
backwaters and deeper areas, deeper holes, deeper backwaters in the streams, and those kind of places could be interesting with different techniques, of course. But in the cold water I had in the spring, it was drop shot.
Okay.
And really just let the weight keep the drop shot jig almost stationary in one spot, and just move the rod tip a little bit for
Static fishing.
half a minute or something before you move the bait. So it was really, and then the strike came. So in warmer conditions, I know that even poppers for bigger perch in streams can be good.
Yep. Okay. Felix Gode asks, Kristian, what kind of boat would you recommend as a good starting fishing boat? The first fishing boat for a guy with a very low price.
Yeah, that's.
Do you have any budget suggestions?
Of course, you when you are looking for a boat, he must have a budget, of course. And that's the budget is always individual. I like aluminium boats because they are really rugged. You can just pull them up
Yep.
in the sandy beaches or
Just a little bit
just use them.
rougher.
Not being so scared of destroying them. So I would recommend an aluminium boat, of course. I had a lot of aluminium boats. My 4 previous boats have been aluminium boats also. So,
Yep.
so an aluminium boat and then also depends on what kind of fishing he wants to do. Is it small lakes, bigger lakes, or is it in the archipelago? What kind of fishing it is? But if it's just smaller lakes, there are nice boats around 4 meters
Yeah.
that are affordable.
I was
if you
just
buy,
thinking around 4 meters
Yeah.
is nice.
even if you buy a new one, it's not very expensive, but up to the budget, individual budget, of course.
4 meters aluminum.
Yep.
And there's a lot of brands that make them. There are Buster boats, Linde boats,
Yep.
Alumacraft, West. Well, there's a lot of them. You have to Google it, but I think that's a nice advice.
Or buy a used one.
Yes, of course, of course.
That's also a good start. Try to find a used. You can even buy a little bit bigger then, maybe, depending on your budget, of course.
Martin Ångman asks, eller says, Christian's childhood friend Thomas Post says hi and wonder if he still drives steam engines.
I do, Thomas, but I do steam engine just with you. So please contact me.
We're talking about trains.
Yeah.
No, steam engines.
Yes. Oh, I remember that. Oh, it was nice.
It was great. I did that too.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great.
Steam engine.
Steam engines.
Yeah, that's also, of course, a childhood memory because Thomas and I was fighting a lot.
Okay.
And, our teacher wants us to become friends.
Mm.
So we had some extra steam engine hours, me and Thomas.
Oh, I see. So I see. A bonding project. Yeah. Pierre Svensson asks a little about you as a person. He wants to know what you do when you're not fishing. What do you work?
Yeah.
What do you work with? What's your profession?
I've been doing all kinds of employments in all kind of employments in different electrical companies.
Hmm?
Mostly German electrical companies. I've been in sales and I'm still in sales, but the 8th of August I will start in an American company and I will work as a business development manager. So exactly what that means, I don't know. I will find out.
I'm sure you will.
I will find out, I think.
Okay. Jesper, we've talked about this, but it's interesting. Jesper Lindström says he's fishing a new lake and he has the problem with the small pikes who hits the lures and he loses a lot of bait. Is there something you can do about not catching pike when fishing for perch?
That's of course the tricky part because you will hit some pikes.
Yeah.
You've seen that today when we are fishing. I lost the bait. When I fish in areas with a lot of pike, I normally use like 0.54 carbon.
Mm.
That's the only thing you can do to prevent them to steal your baits and swim away with your bait in the mouth and hurt the pike. Give me the popper. I will try the popper a few minutes. You have it in the cup holder. Yes, thanks.
Yes.
I will do. It's really nice conditions now for trying some poppers, so I will do some minutes of popping.
Oh, so sorry.
Oh,
So sorry. Well,
That's it.
That's the one. Okay, I'll do.
happened? Oh, that's the
No,
bait.
I hit the.
Yeah, but it was
I
just
opened the bait lock and it was
did?
completely destroyed.
Yeah.
It happens. And I have to change my.
It never happens to me. It never happens to me.
We had a song contest later, early on.
Jan is always as he used to be.
Yes,
It never happens to me.
it never happens to me. But sometimes it happens to me. Sometimes it happens to me.
Yeah, I was just kidding.
I know. So I'll take the opportunity to change to a soft lure.
Yep.
The duck fin. Isn't that the...
Yeah, that's a favorite from one of our guys, and also one of my favorites. So try that.
Because I've seen that there's not... Perhaps some of the... them solitary perch that just stands on the bottom and waiting. Sometimes you can...
Yes, take them on the shed. Yes. Maybe we made a mistake and should have tried that more, but
I don't think so. There's been
That's
fish
the
in the
thing.
middle water and there's been fish everywhere. But
that's the thing with fishing. You have to choose what kind of tactics you want to try.
Superflax asks, what line size would be preferred for jigging with a bait caster with jigs from 7 grams up to 15 grams? Have we talked about line, anything?
I'm using 0.10 or 0.13.
Okay.
Yeah. In this case, all my rods are equipped with 0.10.
0.10. That's enough, you think?
I use 0.10.
Oh, I had a strike. Sorry.
You had a strike?
I had a strike. I always said a nasty word again. I won't. It was on the drop, as usual.
Yeah.
And it probably was a 2 kilo perch, 54 centimeters long.
Most likely.
Most likely.
Most
It was
likely.
it was just a nibble.
Nibble.
And that's really awful when the pike when the perch just nibble the bait.
Yeah.
And
it is.
won't inhale or hit it properly. They just nibble it. Okay, 0.10.
Yes, 0.10. I think that's enough. I have no problems of line breakage. Of course, you need to use your drag and not try to pull the fish too quickly,
No?
as I might do with which I did with the pike.
Yep.
Of course, I broke the line. So
Lone Moose asks, how do you recognize a school of perch on the sonar?
yeah, they make a special, especially when you have some movement in your boat. You can see them. They are like small boomerangs, I think.
Yep.
Don't you agree?
And very asymmetric.
Yeah.
They're on everywhere.
Yep.
And often you can recognize them as individuals in the school.
Yeah.
So when you see them, there's no doubt, actually.
No.
It can't be schoolfish or anything else. And when you get that picture on your sonar, you're almost guaranteed when they're hunting. Almost guaranteed that they
Yep.
will hit your lure. We haven't had so many of them today,
Nope.
sadly.
I'm sorry about that.
Do you have any opinions about those new popular things, Neko, Wacky, and Jika rigs? They're all different kind of rigs for soft baits.
Yes, I've tried them and they work and yeah. My opinion is that it's nice that there are coming a lot of new techniques and ways of using baits. So it would develop the fishing.
It surely will, yes.
Yeah. So, but none of them have been none of them the new ones have been the thing for me to continue with. I've tested them, but yeah.
I think they're used all over the world even for bass fishing, and you often hear about those rigging techniques when it comes to street fishing and those channel boys who fish there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Often very hard places to fish. You have to do a lot of convincing before the fish hits the lure.
Yeah. Not as easy as you and I.
No. Great. Wasp661 asks, what do you think about the perch record that still stands? And he says that the perch come from an artificial lake, but I don't think it did. Was it an artificial lake?
It was
and introduced.
Of course, it was special kind of conditions, and in an issue of the Swedish Sport Fishing Association, their own magazine called Svensk Fiske, you can read about the catch, and then you can see that it's not an artificial lake, but maybe in some way influenced by people, yes.
Yeah.
But
I think the main thing was that it was affected by acid rain, and the whole ecosystem was unbalanced.
So not artificial in that way, but of course influenced by man. That's right.
Well, Kristian, it's gone almost 2 hours.
You're kidding?
No.
2 hours and no perch. Yeah, that's the thing.
They've tricked us, but as we said, we went for big perch.
Yeah, we didn't choose the easiest area. So, but
no, we
I
did
wanted
this
to show you a 1.5 kilo perch. We didn't manage that today, but keep following us. We will show that kind of fish.
Yes, I really hope this won't be the last time we live fish together. But there are so many other things that we can do. So I agree. Keep your eyes and ears out there. So.
Or follow us on Facebook, and then you'll see that all the grey and dark blackish perch are from this place. Then you know.
So, guys, thank you very much for watching this live fishing show with my good friend Kristian. We will be back, probably going for perch again, and after that we'll probably go for a big Arctic char in Lake Vättern or somewhere else. But there will be a couple of more shows before the summer vacation. So thank you guys, and I hope you enjoyed the show, and thank you very much Daiwa Corporation for making this happen. And again, my friend.
Yes. Thanks.
Thanks for
thanks, and thanks you all watching. Keep in touch. If you have any questions, just send me a message.
It's a generous guy. Please do. See you. Okay. See you soon. Tack så hemskt mycket för att ni har tittat på vår livefiskeshow idag, och det är ni tittare som gör att vi kan producera de här programmen. Om ni vill ha sekundsnabb information, glöm inte att gå in och prenumerera på kanalen. Det är jätteenkelt, och det räcker med att ni trycker här.